Yo, what's going on, everybody? So welcome back to another weekly outlook video. I believe this is number 4 now. I think I could be wrong. So please do not get mad at me if I'm incorrect. But I do think it's number 4. So yeah, so let's get right into it. So US 30 right now. I mean, I'm sick to my stomach. I missed this move, but it just happened so quickly that I couldn't capitalize on this massive sell-off. Now, for those who are unaware of why the Dow Jones dumped like this, it was because Donald Trump tweeted something about China and tariffs. I forget the exact details behind the tweet, but it had to do with tariffs and it had to do with China. It was something that got investors kind of shaky about the market, and they started pulling out their money, which is what caused this massive, I think, 10,000 point drop right here, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, this thing melted off the planet. So yeah, I'm sick because I couldn't capitalize on this opportunity. So when it comes to going into the market this week, it's clearly in a downtrend. This is the 1 hour time frame. So clearly it's in a downtrend. And then on the 4 hour time frame, if it will load, there we go. We had all these higher low points that were forming before, and now price completely just eradicated all those higher low points and created a lower low point. So now we're starting to see a overall transition based on the higher time frames from bullish now to bearish. So currently I'm still fixated on the sells. I'm just waiting for price to pull back. Ideally, I want price to pull back up into this 4 hour key zone that I drew off, because right here this is previous resistance, support, and then it was also previous resistance. So price has tapped into this area multiple times. So I'm anticipating it comes back up to here, where I would look for some opportunity to short it back down to this area here, or hopefully down to a lower low point. But only time will tell. There's not much to analyze because the drop was so drastic that there's nothing for me to analyze at this moment in time. I just have this key zone drawn off right now just to see if price does come back up here and respect it. So going into this current trading week, I'm looking for sells, but I just have to wait for it to get to some area of resistance before I can, be definitive about like going into the market. Now, with all that being said, let's go over the move that I missed this Friday. Oh God, this would have been a great trade, but whatever. Okay, so basically, price was creating lower high points. We had a downtrend, as you can see, based off this trend line. Price respected this trend line multiple times. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches eventually before it decided to fall off the planet. So right now, this area right here, let me just highlight it. This entire area here, and let me make that orange just to switch it up. So this entire area here was the trade opportunity that I missed. So I knew that price was in an overall downtrend at this point, right? Because we had a lower high here, followed by a lower low. So I will have my fibs drawn from point A to point B, just waiting for price to come and reverse. So right here in this orange area, go down to the 1 minute time frame, all the way down to the nitty gritty. So on the 1 minute time frame, oh my gosh, man, it's just so much data. It's like crazy to look at. So this was the 1 minute time frame. So this orange area, right? It came to that blue zone. This blue zone was another key zone that I drew based off the 1 hour time frame. So I saw that price approached my trend line, which is up here. Actually, dim this down a little bit. All right, so this black diagonal line is that 1 hour trend line that I drew. And this giant blue zone here is a 1 hour key zone that I drew as well. So I had a lot of confluence in this area for, the sellers to step back in the market, which they did. They did, because when price got up into this area, it decided to create some form of support, and then it broke past it. Now, it broke past it, and quite honestly, never looked back. Like, it never gave me an opportunity to enter the trade, because ideally, if I had entered the trade right here, my stop loss would have been ridiculous. Like I don't want to set a 2,000 point stop loss. You know, that's really, really big. And my target would have been down to here, which would have been my projection. So like a 1-to-1 risk to reward to me is absolutely not worth it. A 1-to-1 is just gambling, and that doesn't make any sense. So I had to sit this off. Now, if I could predict the future, and if I knew that price was going to melt all the way down to here, then yeah, you know, I would have obviously gotten into the trade. But I can't predict the future. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I stayed out of it. But the transition was perfect. Price came up to that key level of resistance and that trend line area, and it created support where it decided to finally break. So seeing this break right here, boom, this aggressive bearish candle at 9:57 a.m., that showed me the amount that there was an excess amount of sellers in the market. So right here would have been a great opportunity to enter the market for a sell. But if you wanted to place your stop loss in the correct area, your stop loss would have to be placed up here because that is outside of market structure. So eventually I just never entered because at the end of the day, it was just too aggressive for me to even get in. Like I couldn't even think to get in because the move had already kind of happened. So that's why I'm sick, because it just happened so quick that there was nothing I could do. So with all that being said, we are still maintaining this downtrend flow. As you can see, this is the 1 minute time frame, so we're still maintaining that downtrend flow, and this is that 4-hour key level that I mentioned earlier. It looks like on the 1 minute time frame, price broke below it, came up above it, and retested it as some form of resistance. So based off of the 1 minute time frame, I could say that this right here would be a good area of resistance because price already tested it on the 1 minute time frame as resistance. So I could potentially see it pulling back. I could potentially see it pulling back. Where is the drawing tool? There we go. Up into here where it was where it's made resistance already on the 1 minute time frame. Hopefully I could see it respect it, and then that would be the push down. So this is the setup that I'm possibly looking for, hopefully looking for when it comes to the market opening this week. So something kind of like this, where my stop loss is about like a 1,000 point risk, and then my target would be for that low based on the higher time frame. So something similar to this is ideally what I'm looking for, and not something like this where this was only ideal because this met my trading criteria, but it would have been a bad trade. It would have been too risky of a trade anyway. This over here is more of an ideal setup for me because the risk is very minimal and the reward is completely optimal. So this is what I'm looking for next week. But currently right now, I just have to wait and see. Just got to let price do its thing and create some market data. So that pretty much concludes this weekly outlook video. Just maintaining my bearish bias, and then hopefully price will give an opportunity to capitalize on that bearish move. So appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.